G'day everyone, it's Scumday Sundays, so get those umbrellas out to stop those shells from hitting your tanks. Today we have paulcaiafa in his 261, and he is in a full tier 10 game, as you can see here. And I'm just going to jump straight into it. The only reason I'm featuring this tank, well, if you can call it a tank, is because it is the only artillery that is receiving a buff in the next patch of 1.5. Currently, this tank, this artillery piece can only take 18 shells. Next patch, it will not be getting its splash reduction of 5%, as they said, and it will be getting 2 shell increase, which is... So it's kind of fair. I mean, 18's not a lot, and I bet you the stats probably show that a lot of people run out of shells. So paulcaiafa is, well, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's very hard. It's paulcaiafa or paulcaiafa. So I'm just going to call him Paul for now, and that'll do me. So you notice this is 277 on the right hand side of the map. Puts in a good shell, 363 damage. Now we're just going to turn the music on because, you know, that would be helpful. He relocates to stop the enemy artillery from hitting him, and now he's going to take another shot at this 705. Now, is this the best course of action when you have all of those heavy tanks down the bottom there? Takes another shot, puts in his, you know, his quota and moves on. It's one of the good things about this tank. It's out of all of the artillery at tier 10, it's the fastest firing, not exactly the most nimble, and it's got a pretty good aiming reticle. I mean, it's pretty accurate for what it does. So he tries to aim where he's going, gets in another big hit. You know, he's racking up the damage, he's definitely helping, and he's moving very deep into enemy territory by where he's relocating here. But he has to do this because he has to get onto the B-line flank, if he can at all, because of where all these tanks here are situated. Meanwhile, the heavy tanks down south are, well, at the lighthouse, are really duking it out. He's going to try and hit more than one tank here. No, he's just going to go for the 183. Puts in his quota, moves on, but he gets 1,000 assistance damage. That's something that doesn't happen, even 1,500. He just got for the assistance on the Jagdpanzer and the 183 collectively. It's something that's not happening a lot of recently, is that assistance damage, and that was another reason I wanted to feature this game, because apparently it was quite a successful attempt at such a feature. There you go, just got a little bit more, 331 on the Badger. He put in his quota, so he's relocating again, trying to keep swinging around, pushing to where he knows best. He thinks he's safe over this side. He's got 3 tanks on watch to stop anything coming in. He's going to go for the kill shot on the 183. I don't think this is the best course of action, but he lands it. It lands right next to him on the tracks and does full damage. I'm not sure if it was a pen or not, but because it hit the tracks, it did enough damage to take the 183 out of the game. If it had hit the tank in the front or on the top, it probably wouldn't have killed him. Probably would have been 280 or something like that. Unlucky, but yeah. So he puts a small shot into the Jagdpanzer. He tracks him as well as dealing his quota of damage. And now he's relocating south because he's lost the 430, I think it was. And yeah, the 430 has been taken out. So now it's only the 705 that's keeping him protected from the north. So this is a smart move. He started moving north because he knew that's where he needed to get the shots in and he had protection. Now he needs to focus on the south where the heavy tanks are starting to win, but you know, the fight's going for quite a while, so it's not necessarily a loss down there, but it could quickly turn that way. So he puts in a shot that hits 2 tanks, only does damage to one of them, but gets the splash onto the IS-7. The IS-7 uses his medkit to get rid of that nasty number above his head. And now Paul's going to go again at this 57 heavy. He misses, but he still does 247 damage. So as you can see, those shells, now he's halfway through his shell count. And he's going to keep relocating south because the Object 705 has left him wide open by pushing into their base. So the Object 430 has decided to on the enemy team is doing a runner to try and flank. He's going to try and assist with this Badger. He fires completely unaimed and it somehow lands in the middle. And he's picking up some massive spotting damage. The 57 heavy he received 1500 spotting damage for, or assistance damage for, should I say. This is a dream come true. This doesn't happen in my SPGs. The assistance damage just doesn't seem to happen. You have to do it all on your own. Puts in a big hit in the 705A. No assistance damage popping up. There's some. 515. See, that's massive in a tier 10 game. Can't seem to get a shot on this 4005, which he would love. Everyone who fires HE naturally would love a shot like this. He's not quite loaded. He might get a shot here. He does, but he doesn't pan. He must have hit the gun mantlet. Unfortunate, but it's just how it is. Or he might have hit the outer, the chassis. Chassis has quite a bit of armor. It's not great armor, but it's enough to stop a SPG shell from going through. And he actually gets his first tracking damage of the game for 515. Currently sitting on 4000 damage with 3400 assistance and 515 tracking. So he's made his way south. Those TDs have held off his north advance. And he's got to try and keep this IS-7 and Jagdpanzer E100 alive for as long as possible. Can't seem to find a shot on this grill, which is unfortunate. That grill would be a big bonus if we could have hit him. There is a grill on his team in the middle of the map, keeping overwatch, like a lighthouse. Just making sure that nothing comes north. Although there is safety in numbers. So Paul finds his way south. Now he's definitely got shots. You can either choose the grill, which he can shoot the grill right now, but he's going to go for the 430. He misses and hits the grill anyway. Well, that was very lucky. Very lucky. What options does he have? He has the 4005. He can go back to the 430U if he wishes. Whether or not he's going to do that. No. Grill takes out the 4005. That's what he was there for. They're still down by one tank. This is going to miss. Yeah, it misses. But he gets some assistance. 390. And, oh, that's devastating. The Jagdpanzer E100 gets taken out. And they're still really healthy over here. And the IS-7 is completely overwhelmed. He can't push into that, especially against the 430U, who I think's got more deep. Oh, looks like a bad shot. If he sits there, oh, it hits the tip of the gun. That could not have been more unlucky. If any of you don't know this, if you hit the tip of the gun, it pulls the burst radius away from where the original target was intended. So now he has to wait for that third last shell to load. And if you're not firing HE and you hit the gun, well, it just doesn't do any damage at all. Oh, he hits a dead tank. He gets the splash off though on the 430U. And now the grill's relocated. He has no choice here. He has to hold his ground. And collectively, he's done almost 9,000 damage. Like, this is... Actually, he has collectively done 9,000 damage. Oh, he's gonna... No, he doesn't have the shot anymore. Oh, the grill gets taken out. He's all by himself now. Sitting on a combined 9,000 damage. Let's see what else he can do. He's got one last roll of the dice. .430 could come from the front. He's probably going to go through the cap. Wait, there's the grill. You can't see the grill. He sees the grill, he puts him down. He's got to get out of there though. The 430U will be closing in. His reload's about 13 seconds. He needs to wait for that. So the 430U did go to the cap. But now that he knows where the artillery is, he's going to be coming around. Which means he's going to be swinging around from that left-hand side. He knows that, but he knows he can't kill him. From this situation, there is absolutely nothing he can do. He has to pen the 430U in order to stand a chance of winning this game, which the 430U is not going to let him do. He puts in an extra 264 damage, and that unfortunately looks like that. He tries his best to get out of the way, but it just wasn't meant to be. Sort of blistering round here from Paul in his Object 261. He did everything he could to try and keep his team in the battle. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be. So he got his ace and he got 19 bonds, which is why I tell people if you're going to go farming bonds, you do it in arty or a light tank. It really does help either way. The medals, the Gauze medal especially, is probably half of this. But his involvement was just massive. So as you can see, we'll have a look by the damage. He did 5,241 damage, which was the highest on either team. But then you go into the raw stats of it, and he did 4,301 damage due to his stunning of players. And he only got 515 damage from tracking damage. Or spotting, but yeah, he didn't spot anyone. So yeah, I mean he tried everything he could. That's a massive effort. Like he really tried, and I know it's an arty and he's the scum of the earth, but you know, every dog has their day, and looks like Paul got what he deserved. He lost the game, and he still managed to ace the tank, so it's a win-win for both. The arty dies and everyone wins. So he aced this thing with 1,000 and... Well, actually, no. This would have been for an achievement. Yep, the achievement award counts towards the actual overall total. So it would have been 1,574 base experience, which isn't shown here, but in terms of aces, when you get a Courageous Resistance award, it's added to the total, and that counts. Everything else here wouldn't count towards your base experience, but because of it, a Courageous Resistance always counts towards your base. So his base isn't 670. It is, in fact... Oh no, I'm wrong there. His base would be 1,000, because it counts the total there. No, I am right. Yeah, I thought I was right. Yeah, it's 1,574. So it's 1,000 plus the Courageous Resistance award. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's looking how it is. It usually says Courageous Resistance here, but it hasn't. He fired all 18 shells. He fired all but one shell, and did quite a lot. So I think that's enough of arty, for today. The scum of the earth, but they deserve their time in the light, as does everyone, and it looks like Paul got his just rewards here in this game. So that's it for me, and I'll see you next week.